Well, today is the very last day of 2023. Pretty cool. And that also means
of
who knows who this is.
We're not on it. I want to go through it, but then I felt like, I'm on a list. I want to be at the top. Yeah, I'll be listening. I mean, that's like, bro, we fucking win.
If you know, you know. What I was saying though, that also means it is our very last day to meet our goal of having a rolling vehicle. Now I did say a rolling shell, and the engine and trans are in, so technically we're going to be surpassing that, provided we can get it into a rolling state today. Now I don't really care to like put wheels and tires on it and actually go roll it around. That'd be fun, but that's a little excessive, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's noon right now. Bob and I had a great morning. I slept until 7:30, woke up, edited, went to church, came back home, took a freaking nap. I don't know why, man. Anytime I take a nap in the middle of the day, which only tends to happen on Sundays, and maybe once a month I'll take a nap like this, just a banger nap, to where you wake up and you have a drool stain on your pillow the size of like the Pacific freaking Ocean. It only happens during a nap. Very confusing. So I'm gonna go hit the gym, do some squats, and go work for a couple hours. I'm excited, man. What a great year. Very last day of the year, I can't sit around either. Gotta finish it out strong going into 2024. I'm curious what we're gonna do in 24. I'm not really the type to sit down and like write out goals and that kind of stuff. I'm sure it would help. I'm more of a mental checklist goal type of fella. Maybe that's a bad thing, I don't know. We may as well toss her in sport mode, or no, plus R mode, and finish out the year with one last ripper. I think this thing makes about 390 wheel. It's got a full exhaust, intake, intercooler, and a tune, of course, on the Honda. But then again, I don't want to rip the studs off, so if she starts to spin, which I know it will, third gear spins, fourth gear spins. Dang, son, she's a ripper. So pretty much all I want to get done at the shop today, pretty simple. Get the motor mount situated. We got 2 motor mounts on yesterday. We got 2 motor mounts left, which are both connected to the subframe and to the transmission. So get all that situated with the subframe in the car. Get the front coilovers on, get the hubs on, of course, the knuckles on, all that jazz. And then that's a pretty good stopping point to just move on to interior stuff and all the wiring. The whole freaking car is missing all the harnesses. Well, I guess some of the interior harnesses are in, like for the roof, those harnesses are in, the floor harnesses are in, but everything with the dash and anything to do with like actually trying to run the vehicle, all those harnesses are out of the car. So there's no sense in trying to like complete the whole exterior with all the interior stuff gone and missing. So this upcoming week, it's probably the main focus. Get all the wiring in. I don't know if we're gonna hit a first start this week or not. That'd be sick, but I'm not in any rush. I can't be with this type of build. I love Sundays, man. I don't feel obligated to make a ton of progress. You know what I'm saying? I walked in the shop this morning, or I guess literally 2 seconds ago, and I forgot some pieces for the motor mounts. So these are, I want to say these guys go on the driver's side, and these guys go on the passenger side. Could be wrong, I need to look it up, but these are for the sides of the motor mounts where it goes in between the frame rail. We need to get those on, and then we can move forward with this motor mount on, which is the rear, this one on the front, and the freaking subframe goes in. Okay, exciting. Good thing I didn't put the engine hoist away yet, because I'm gonna have to unbolt this motor and get them rubbers on. Let's try and fish this motor mount out of here without making any scuff marks. Now, according to the diagram, these guys will sit like that, And like that. Easy enough. Alrighty, we are ready to move forward. Got those rubbers in. And the chain can come off. I'm constantly worried about this thing scuffing our valve cover. Let's hope it did not. Should be good there. I just have one last motor mount to press the bushing into, and we should be able to move forward with the subframe. You know, I could just lower or raise this guy up, but this works as well. You know, looking at that, it's a little bit janky. But these bushings press in so easy. You can kind of probably hammer them in by hand if you wanted. I know it looks janky. If it works, it works. Bam. So the majority of these bolts, these big boys, are going to be used for the motor mounts and the subframe installation. So I need to find the bolts to attach this to the transmission. This piece, this aluminum piece, bolts on like yay. I just found 2 bolts. I know exactly what these are for, and I messed something up earlier. Let me show you. These guys go here, not those. Sheesh, how tight did I put those? Okay. See? Sometimes I just don't know. But we can always go back and fix. Yes, sir. That is correct. I bet if I go in the comment section, somebody corrected me on that. I bet. So this guy bolts on up here. This guy bolts on right up here. And then this mount bolts onto that mount. Now I did order up a new cover for that. I debated coating it, but I'm just gonna leave this one. OEM, new OEM. They know best, right? I just need to get this. That sticker can stay, but this one's bummy. That ain't staying. Just gotta get it off and get all the glue off somehow. If I'm remembering correctly, this has to go on before the starter can go in. Either that or it's vice versa, but I'm pretty confident that plate goes on and then the starter can go in. Let's confirm. Yes. Alrighty. Now before the subframe goes in, I'm gonna go ahead and slap the T-case on. You guys might remember I was searching for that vent for quite some time, finally found one, and we gotta put that on. Now there's one other small part that this T-case is missing. It's one of the seals that goes on this cover right here, and it's not the axle seal, but it's an internal seal. I spaced ordering one. I thought I had it here. I thought I ordered it. I did not order it, but that'll be pretty easy to go ahead and install later on. We just can't forget, otherwise we're gonna have a big old leak. Let's get this vent plate on. T-case can go in. It's always a little bit easier to get the T-case in with no subframe and rack in the way. Okay. Touch of sealant around the whole perimeter. This guy goes like this. And then this guy right here goes on right there. You do need to put a little bit of sealant on this rubber. At least that's how it is factory. And then it kind of just clips in like that. Okay, so this thing's ready to go. Let's see what we got going on here. Make sure the seals are on. So that O-ring's on, that seal's in. There's a small seal that goes, or an O-ring that goes right there, which I need to find. And then the T-case can be installed. So even though this O-ring is a pretty tight fit into the T-case, just to be sure, I personally like to just put a little bead of sealant to kind of glue it in place. If that thing falls out, you have the most annoying leak to fix. That was a bit excessive on the sealant, if I'm being honest, but slightly excessive. That will do the trick. Okay, T-case can be installed. Let's do her. Oh, yeah, that's a problem. This car did not have a T-case when I bought it. So I bought a spare used T-case and it came with a dowel, and there's a dowel on the trans side as well. So one of them's gotta go. Just to make sure that outer O-ring slides in nice, I decided to put a little bit of grease where she goes on. Because if that guy pops off too, it's real annoying. That should help it slide in place. Very nice. Now, like I said, this thing did not have a T-case in it when I bought it. Thankfully, I did order a full set of T-case bolts from Mitsubishi for this. Otherwise, we couldn't bolt her in. And the Mitsubishi OEM zinc, thankfully, looks very, very, very similar to our zinc. So that's nice that it all matches. I guess it's a little bit, yeah, it is lighter, but what do you do? At least it's still considered a yellow zinc. I guess it would be a good opportunity to slap this guy in. The entire drivetrain is now done. From the engine to the transfer case, the entire drive shaft, all the way to the rear diff and rear axles. Well, I guess the front axles are not in, but drivetrain is 99.9% done. Cool, let's slap in the subframe. I might need to do a little bit of things with the power steering lines first. Yeah, this main line looks like absolute trash. This here is the end that goes on the power steering pump itself. This goes on the rack side. And both sides, if I'm being honest, look no good. There's not many options for something like this, is the problem. I'm gonna do pretty much the only option that we can do is clean it up as best as possible. This guy can come off for now. I'm wondering if it would be possible to have this re-zinced somehow with the hose on it. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if they would just laugh at me and say, you're an idiot, go home. But it would be cool. So that's all good to go. This rubber, I'm sure it has some sort of use, but it's so beat up, I'm gonna rip it off. The plan is, I'm gonna sandblast all the metal on this guy with the glass bead, and then I'm just gonna paint it with the SEM satin black paint. I really wish I could have this remade, but I know if I went to like a random hose shop, it would not turn out very good. So that is the best option. And I'm not too worried about sand getting in it. I know there's no oil left in it whatsoever. I blew it out really good with brake cleaner, and I'll do the same thing after I blast it. Just get her cleaned out real good. I'm curious, the price on a brand new OEM line, if that's even still available for Mitsubishi. All right, let's see how much sand sand comes out of this thing. Somebody needs to empty their garbage can. SEM Color Coat Satin Black. I love this stuff. For something that you cannot powder coat, just a quickie paint job makes it look nice. So while the Rattle Can Jimmy dries on the hard line, I think this would be considered the return line, the other one the feed line, I guess. I am not a power steering pump or a power steering expert, but we can go ahead and get this line installed. So I got both lines on. Now this mount right here should go on before it goes in the car. Okay, that's how that sits. There is a bracket that holds this line down. That thing is not in good shape, so I'm gonna order a new one of those. We can easily get that on later. As far as I'm concerned, this thing is ready to go up in the car. How fantastic. Let's do her dirty. 2 nuts up front, the 2 main bolts in the rear that are also for the lower control arms. And this thing is pretty much ready to start up and drive home, if you ask me. Not quite, Devin, not quite. But we're getting there. It is quite convenient how light the subframe assembly is. I think it's the Type R, the all-wheel drive Type R. That setup is just like freaking heavy. This is nice. It doesn't go quite tall enough. So we gotta lower the car a touch. Okay. That's good there, good there. Alrighty. Welp, let's get some nuts on this thing. I always like to grease that stud because there was one time where my nut seized onto the stud. It was actually on my white Evo 10, and it was the biggest nightmare in the world. So I always grease it now. And these bolts as well that go into the rear. Spin them up a bit with a small impact. As soon as those 4 bolts are on, the hoist can get out of the way, and look at that. Good to go. Nice. Unfortunately, that is pretty much all the progress that I'm allowed and allotted to make on this very fine Sunday, last day of 2023. So that's gonna be a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy looking at my beautiful assembly. Goodbye.